Hello, parents, caregivers, friends, neighbors, welcome. I am Glenda Shupinyaning, the Executive Director of the South African Education Project. Every child deserves a fair start. Research has shown us that quality early learning programs build cognitive skills, social, emotional foundations children need to succeed in grade R and in primary school. Ensuring that children start learning early helps level the playing field. Let's give every child an equal opportunity to thrive. Welcome again, parents, to another conversation, all things ECD. Today, we are having a conversation with somebody that understands the early childhood development curriculum. And she's going to tell us more how did this curriculum come about and why is it important. But firstly, welcome. And please tell us who you are, where do you come from, and why should our parents even listen to you?
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Sikelelwa Nocuza. I am a lecturer, a head of department in early childhood development at Northlink College. Not only there, I am also a DHET master trainer in early childhood development. And in addition to that, I'm also a parent to a lovely 10-year-old girl.
Oh, that's lovely. I hope you are not at that stage where they tell you what is what and they correct your grammar. And I'm at that stage where I can't say curves.
No.
They need to correct me, the proper English, how to say it.
I'm definitely there. Broccoli is not broccoli, it's broccoli, mama.
Oh, you are there.
Yes.
You are there. I'm a good student too, so I get to learn from my kids, myself. I've also got a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. And I believe we also learn quite a bit from our children.
Definitely.
And what's important is that we become teachable as parents. And in that, the children can also fluently learn from us.
Definitely.
So it is quite important that we become parents that are quite tentative to the needs of our children, so that learning can happen quite easily in the household. So coming back to ECD, creche, there's a curriculum. If parents, you did not know, children are not just being kept there and sleeping and eating all day. They are supposed to be taught. And the department had put together this curriculum, the NCF curriculum. And our expert here is going to break that down on what is this curriculum all about, how did it come about, and why is it important?
Let me firstly say, as a parent, you are your child's first teacher. So before we came up with the NCF was already existing at home. We just needed a national guideline now for all ECD centers. To break it down in simplest form, I would say NCF is like a recipe book. In a recipe book, you get to find a recipe, a method to actually do that delicious meal. So an NCF is like that. It guides all of us. It gives teachers or practitioners at ECD centers, no matter where your child is learning, whether it is in Eastern Cape, Western Cape, Northern Cape, we are following the same curriculum to teach the same teachings that a child needs to get at an early stage of their lives. So an NCF or National Curriculum Framework is a national guideline that ensures that wherever your child is, they're getting the same foundation, they're getting the same teaching that everyone in South Africa is teaching. Not only playing, not only singing songs like the old days, but they are guided to actually deliver the same framework.
So it is quite important that our parents understand that this curriculum is not for a certain group of children, that a child in in the rural areas, a child in a township, a child in the urban space, whether you're in town, everywhere there is the same guideline that is there for an ECD practitioner to follow. So homework already, parents, is to find out when you drop off your child at your own ECD, is to find out, is there a program that has been followed in my child's center? And if not, ask those questions, what are they using? Yes, we do recognize that there's different strategies or methodologies that each school could use in actually teaching a child. But the guiding framework of NCF is quite important, that it is utilized in the classroom. So why is it then important for these schools to follow this curriculum for the children's learning?
Now, you would understand that in early childhood development, we're looking at the most crucial years of a child, from birth to 6 years. Those are the most crucial years of a child where you can lay your foundation. Same as their brain development is rapid at that stage. And so with the NCF, it guides the practitioner to actually make sure that they are developing the child holistically. When we speak of holistic, we're looking at the emotional development, we're looking at the physical development, the social development of a child, the cognitive. So NCF is not about enforcing academic in a child or learning, but also developing the child holistically. Because if you look at when you're building a house, I made an example of a recipe. Let me stick to that example. When you are cooking a meal, there are certain methods that you need to follow. If you are going to saute the onion before you put on your vegetables, you follow that method in order for you to get the end product that is a delicious meal. So the NCF then is important to actually guide the practitioner to follow all of those methods in order to deliver the delicious meal at the end of the day. That is a child that is ready to go to school, writing, listening to a teacher in a primary school. That foundation is laid and that foundation is guided by the NCF. Yes.
So now before a child gets to grade R and we talk about school readiness, what are the signs can one, perhaps the parent, say that my child is grade R ready?
Okay. So before grade R, as I mentioned, that NCF is looking at making sure they develop the practitioner develops the child holistically. We have what we call the Super 6 foundational skills. Super 6 foundational skills, you look at the communication or language development of a child. Can your child speak? Can your child hold conversation with you? Before grade R, a child needs to be able to express themselves, that if they need to go to the bathroom, they need to be constructing a full sentence and not just pointing to the bathroom. When a child is playing with another child, that's now an emotional development. Can they wait to take turns when they're playing with toys? Also, looking at the third one, independence. Can a child do any other work without you assisting that child? So at early childhood development centers, the practitioners there, they teach your child independency so that that child can be able to do anything without your assistance. But it is also important to note to parents that you need to also practice what is done at the ECD centers at home. So if at ECD centers they are potty trained, make sure that you're also potty training the child at home, not only leave that work to the ECD practitioner. The fourth one is the social skill. When you're talking about social skill, we know that we are in the 4IR world, where most of our children like tablets, they like watching TV. But now the curriculum, we are focusing not only on watching TV or playing games on the phone, but we are saying children must play together. So when at the ECD centers, they give them games or blocks to play with, we are teaching them social development. We are developing them socially. That will help a child to actually make friends at a later stage in life. In fact, they make friends even at ECD centers. That is why we have NCF. And then the last one of the Super 6, curiosity. Now, it's important that a child develop that skill at an early stage, because with curiosity, it also actually teach the child to ask questions. They must not be the yes and no. They must be curious to know, but Mama, why did you add a spice this time around when yesterday you did not add the spice? So it's important that the NCF framework is there to actually teach those practitioners to give the Super 6 development skills. So if you see that your child has developed in all these Super 6, then the child is ready for grade R.
So tell me, as you are working for the Northlink College, what type of practitioners are coming through there? And what are they most curious about in this curriculum? Because I always believe that if you see a person going to a college to go get a specific curriculum, trained on it, to be trained on as a practitioner, for an ECD practitioner, they could have gone to a university and done teaching. But what are these? I believe these are two different people.
Definitely.
Could you just unpack what do you see there, and why is there a need that these particular people are coming to you, and what are you seeing there?
Okay. It's good that you have made that distinction, because definitely there is a difference there. With early childhood development, or let me say at Northlink or any other college, we are focusing more on work experience, not only theory. So you'll find that at universities, they are teaching them a lot of theory and never practicing what is done in class. So with colleges, we are teaching the practitioners to actually say, whatever we have done in class, you must go and implement it, and then come back and give reflection or give feedback on that. So not only are they getting theory based on ECD, but they're getting also work exposure. So when a practitioner is enrolled with us at Northlink College, they are not only going to get the theory, they're also going to get work experience. So when they're applying, by the time they finish in 12 months or 18 months, they are work ready and they are employable.
So tell me more about what you have done in this past month in this training of ECD. Tell us about the work that you have been currently doing.
So DHET has came with a program where we are training all TVET lecturers around South Africa, and I get to be the master trainer that trains all of those lecturers. So what we are trying to make sure is that we are delivering the same curriculum all around South Africa, so that also our practitioners, as I have mentioned, that the NCF is a national guideline. All our lecturers then, when they're teaching the practitioner, they are supposed to be delivering the same curriculum that everyone is delivering, no matter where they are in the world.
So thank you for actually sharing the work that you're doing, and now bringing it back to the parents. As a parent that has a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, and the child is going to an ECD, at this stage, what could possibly be that our parents can say, I can see a difference that my child is learning at an ECD? What could be the telltale that my child is picking up or is really learning at an ECD?
In most cases, I'll say language. Language is the first a sign that you can tell that your child is at an ECD center that is following NCF. Because at ECD centers, we emphasize on language development and vocabulary development. For example, if a practitioner is teaching your child, before they eat, they wash their hands. They communicate that. They don't just do and then the child follows. They communicate properly to say, before you eat, you need to wash your hands. After you come from the bathroom, you need to wash your hands. So your child at home will definitely also teach you what they are taught in the ECD centers. So the first one will be language development. Another one will be curiosity, as I've mentioned. You are going to now see that your child is asking you questions that you have not addressed at home. And I just want to say to parents, please probe those questions. Ask why the child is asking that question. Have a conversation with your child, because in that way you are also adding their vocabulary. And when you speak to your child, don't speak in a baby language. Speak like you are speaking to your friend. Speak like you are speaking to your husband. That way they are developing their vocabulary. For example, again, going back to the example of making the meal. When you are cooking at home, just ask your child to be with you in the kitchen. Ask them the shape of a tomato. Tell them this is a tomato. That way they are learning. As I have said, NCF starts at home, because the language development is starting at home by naming each object that you are using, naming the color of the object. And surprisingly, you are going to find the other time it's their children that are going to teach you as a parent that, Mama, did you know that an orange is round? That way then you can tell that the child is definitely at an ECD center.
You know what? Our parents are really not looking at the fact that learning takes place at home. And I always say that the kitchen is the best place that you can teach your child. There's many things that you can be teaching there, from colors to shapes, to measurements, mathematics happening there in the kitchen. Also, I just want to bring in the element of youth.
Yes.
Right? I am for college training. As much as, yes, I did go to a university, but I believe that college training is very practical.
Definitely.
And I encourage youth out there that to take up college training. And if you're a young person, I've seen how ECDs start from you looking after 5 children, and many children come after that. And I want to encourage you, young people, take on these trainings from colleges like Northlink, and perhaps give them more information about what is out there in terms of to be trained as an ECD practitioner. What does it take? What is it that they need? And then, there's also government support. The Department of Education supports ECD centers. But again, you need to start from somewhere and build. Some people view ECDs as businesses. Some look at it from a passions point of view, that they're nurturing children. But it depends on you, young person, how you look at this. But I would like you to share information about how ECDs start and how can they become successful and sustainable. But they do need the qualification to support children in a much more meaningful way. I talk about quality early learning programs. And when you start an early learning program, an ECD, a creche, you need to have the NCF training. So how can a young person say, I am open to starting this. I've got my mother's house. We've got enough space. I could start an ECD, but where can I start?
Thank you actually for bringing that point, because gone are the days where university is the only career path to any qualification. Most colleges are now producing employable people.
Correct.
So when you enroll at a college, you are not only enrolling to get theory, as I have mentioned, you are enrolling to get also work exposure. At our college for ECD, the requirement to actually enroll for ECD is just your grade 11. Grade 11 or N3. N3 in any of the qualifications that were offered. And we're not only looking at youth, but also old ones. Because we know in South Africa we have old ECD centers that have people that do not have the qualification. So we are here to actually match that gap to say, even if you are older, come and enroll so that you get the qualification. The qualification is for 12 months to 18 months. And as you have said, that government does fund it. We have NSFAS that funds ECD when you enroll with us. We also have WCED, Western Cape Education Department, that also fund our students that do ECD. So when you want to enroll for ECD, you are welcome to actually come. And not only the full qualification, I can also say now we have skills program. So we have our skills program that speaks to a parent. Let's say you're a parent and you want to learn more about early childhood development. You can just come and do the skills program. It is not a full qualification. You enroll for 3 months or you enroll for a month, where we are going to teach you the basic of early childhood development. Now, unfortunately for the skills program, it doesn't come with the work exposure. It is just the theory part to actually understand what early childhood is. And we also offer it online. So if you go on our website at Northlink, you will see all of these qualifications that we are talking about. And I will encourage parents, even if you don't want to open your own ECD center, it is important to actually have the basic knowledge of what early childhood development is. Because in most cases, we find that we teach your children at the ECD centers, and then when they get home, they don't get the full support that we would appreciate them to get. So if you want to just explore and know more about ECD, you can also enroll. And I just want to add that you not only become a practitioner, as you mentioned, some people want to open up their own ECD centers. Now, a requirement to open up your own ECD center, you need to have a qualification in ECD. So you can come and enroll so that you can be the principal, or some people do ECD centers because they want to explore international. So there's opportunity also when you're done with our ECDP program, you can be an au pair in America, you can be an au pair in China, or teach children in ECD in China or anywhere that you go, because it is internationally recognized.
Wow. So young people, young parents, here is an opportunity to take on. ECD is gone are the days where you just look after the children, you just feed and they must sleep and play. There's actually an opportunity for young people to take upon these programs that can assist them. You know, we know that unemployment is rife in our country, and this is another avenue for one to equip themselves with something, and that is quite meaningful. You'll be contributing in a meaningful way to our country. And at this point, I don't know if there's any other closing remarks that you would like to talk about with our parents or ECD practitioners they should know about.
Just the last point to say to parents, please, even the non-verbal communication that you do in front of your child, it adds a value. So it's important that whatever you do in front of your child, do that whatever that is positive that can add to that child's life. Swearing in front of your child is a no-no, because at those early stages, they model everything that a parent do. So it's important that we also learn to conduct ourselves positively in front of our children. We're raising leaders, we're raising presidents. So you wouldn't want a president that will swear at their people, definitely as a parent. So it's important that how you carry yourself in front of your child reflects what the child is going to be. So speak positive in your child's life. Teach them at an early stage how to actually conduct the behavior that you want your child to have. It's important that you also you do the same thing at home.
As we say again, parents, you are your first child's teacher before the child sits into any classroom. Again, thank you for listening. This has been quite a good conversation that we had, and we're so grateful to have friends like you to come and just share with our parents what is quite important for their educational process to work with their children.
Yes.
And yeah, till next time again, please inbox us and let us know what is it that we should discuss with our children or with our parents for our children. And goodbye.